Good evening and welcome to the smoking section. My name is Emily Ouija and I'll be your host tonight once again. And here with me tonight is our special guest, Geoff Yalenezian. And Geoff is self-described CEO/Duke of Brennan Smoke Shops, which has 7 locations around the South Coast and South Shore of Massachusetts. Welcome, Geoff. It's great to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
That's great
it's
to have you. Now, you're a retailer and you're well known for your, I find, hilarious radio ads, also very outspoken views.
Satirical.
Satirical presence in many media channels. So I want to talk primarily about something which must affect you very much as a retailer: taxes, tobacco taxes. Taxes seem to be a way for anti-smoking campaigners to force smokers to quit, and also a great way for government to increase their revenue. How do you see that as a retailer? It seems like retailers are being put in the middle of this tug of war.
Recently, the past few years, the state of Rhode Island has gone to a lower tax code, and Connecticut as well, and they've showed increased revenue with lower tax. So there's some data there.
Increased revenue, huh?
It's tough. It's tough in retail today, being surrounded by a lot of states that have lower taxes than Massachusetts. One of which is New Hampshire. They have zero, what we call OTP tax, and that's a tax on cigars, loose rolling tobacco. And there is a very low cigarette tax bracket in New Hampshire as well. In Connecticut and Rhode Island, the cigarette tax bracket isn't as low, but there is a flat 50 cents cap on premium handmade cigars and a lower percentage on the loose rolling tobacco. So
I see. Yep.
So it's very
it's certainly a complicated issue, it seems to me. I mean, there's so many different kinds of tobacco taxes.
The real thing is that the state of Massachusetts is still losing mountains of tax revenue to borderline states like Connecticut, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, and mail order cigars and mail order tobacco. Mail order OTP. It's actually illegal now by the PACT Act to mail order cigarettes, but the state of Massachusetts is just getting ripped apart. You know, one hand's coming in from New Hampshire, one hand's coming in from Connecticut, the other hand's coming in from Rhode Island, and the rest of the tax revenue is flowing out in mail order.
Right. So in other words, you're being hurt as a retailer because business is going to these borderline states, but the government is also hurting because obviously people aren't buying the taxes in their state. I mean, the tobacco.
I think that's what the data that they're showing in Connecticut and Rhode Island is that by going with the lower tax bracket, they're making it more appealing to the tobacco consumers that live in their states to continue to buy their tobacco and tobacco products from their local retailers, brick and mortar we call them.
Interesting. Yeah.
So it is really interesting. My thing, what was it, 4 years ago, the state made alcohol, beer, wine, and liquor sales taxable, and I think it was sales taxable for 6 months, and then it was up on the ballot again, and they voted, and then us as voters voted it down. So now beer, wine, and liquor is not sales taxable, and I'm like thinking to myself, geez, tobacco's been sales taxed for years, and it's really, I really think it's really, what do they call it? Unconstituted tax. I mean, it's a tax on a tax. And on the OTP side of things, where it's percentage tax, the 40% over the cost is a 40% tax of a federal tax. Then it comes to the counter and we sell it to them, and then it's the sales tax, the 6.25% sales tax is a tax on a tax. That's literally a tax already on a tax.
That's amazing. It's taxes literally every step of this process, from the tobacco coming into the store, going to the consumer.
I think the latest tax increase on the books here is small cigar tax, and they want to separate the small cigars and go from 40% to 170%.
Wow, that's a huge jump. Yeah.
You know what, Emily, we thought when the OTP tax went from 30% to 40%, it doesn't sound like it's only a 10% increase, and that's what it sounds like. Oh, it's only 10%. Well, what it does is that's like almost 30% on retail. So it's really, I mean, it's expensive to buy tobacco in Massachusetts.
Yeah, you can say that again. Yeah, I think we can all agree on that. And I believe last week, I read that that this Mass State Senate has passed an increase on flavored tobacco. Is that right? From 40% to 210%?
Did that pass?
I wasn't clear. I read in one article it had already passed, and another it was just being proposed.
Something's going to pass with the flavored tobacco and the flavored little cigars, and I'm going to tell you why. And us at Brennan's Smoke Shop are, we really don't want to direct our product towards children. I don't think any retailer in Massachusetts is or has.
Understood. You're not aiming for that market at all.
At all. And I don't even know that market because we card everybody that comes in our door under the age of 30. But they're really after the little packages of cigars, the little tiny 3 for $99s, and that's legitimately what they're after. And we can't get in the way of that, really.
Right.
We're after the bigger beast, which is the tax code itself in general. The sales tax being a tax on a tax.
Yep.
The OTB tax being exorbitant. The percentage base, it's outdated because it's when it's a percentage and not a cap, it's a percentage over and above the Fed tax. So there's things I think that we can do in the state to make it more palatable for tobacco consumers to stay here. I mean, I have a huge loyal customer following down on the South Coast and the South Shore, and none of those people are mail order in their cigars or their tobacco.
Right.
They're loyally paying the mass excise tax, and then it's coming to the counter and they're loyally paying the mass sales tax on top of the excise tax.
That says a lot because, as you said, they could be mail ordering.
I feel sometimes, because I'm in the business, that like I'm the sheriff of Nottingham. Hey, I'm here for the king.
Right.
And that's really what happens is it comes in my hand and it goes right back out to the state. The state throws it in the general fund. They have their programs that they're supposed to be sending money to, the MSA agreement, the cessation programs. They're supposed to be sending money to the boards of health for stings, and that money is really not going where it was meant to be.
It's really not. No. Yeah.
But so I mean, my thing is, if we're going to really tax tobacco out of the picture and right out of Massachusetts, we better have something lined up that's going to provide as much revenue to the state. Right.
And that's interesting. Do you think that is the intention? I mean, I know that is the aim of anti-smoking campaign.
And the problem with it is in actuality, if you prohibit, well, I'll use that term, prohibit something from happening, people are going to find their ways around it, like alcohol, moonshining, bootlegging. So when it happens, and I say when it happens, it's going to go right to the black market, and we're going to be right back where we started. I
mean, we're already seeing black market smuggling of tobacco. Is that correct?
But they're not black market; they're called gray markets.
Gray market.
They come from over borders. I mean, in Massachusetts, there's a terminology we call them trunk slimmers, and those are guys that drive over the border in New Hampshire, load their trunk up with the tobacco, the cigars, the cigarettes, and then they skip back over the border and sell it to whoever's willing to buy it.
So in other words, that tobacco is not completely untaxed. It's just coming from a state which has a lower
tax code or no tax. Well, I mean, some of the stuff that's coming from New Hampshire is not taxed.
Okay.
Big business in that today is the chew. The chew tax went from, I thought it was 90% to 210%.
Wow. Yeah.
That was the last go around, and the chew price is just out of the market. Nobody buys chew from Massachusetts anymore.
Wow.
Though we haven't stopped people from chewing tobacco in Massachusetts. We've stopped people from buying chew in Massachusetts.
Yep,
so
that seems to be what's happening.
It's a very, very broad, deep issue. It really goes a lot further than just the state. I mean, it's so involved. There's all kinds of stuff, and some of which I don't know. I want to be transparent, but some of it I don't know if I want to put a target on my back,
Understandable.
About the mail order side of things, the lobbying groups at a federal level that are fighting, kind of impeding the local little brick and mortar retailers from doing anything.
Absolutely.
A large problem for the tobacco business is most of the convenience stores, with the exception of a few major chains, are mom and pop owned and operated.
Mm-hmm.
And these mom and pop businesses can't afford to shut down for the day and
Right.
go lobby up at the State House and,
Yep.
hey, you're killing us, you're sending all the business over to New Hampshire, you're sending it to Rhode Island. And
That's a great point. It's something I had never thought of, and it actually segues nicely into what I was going to ask you. Is just, what can retailers do, what can consumers do to try to fight against these unfair tax hikes? But as you say, it can be very difficult for many retailers to make the time to go to public hearings, just as it can be for consumers as well.
a group of retailers have been trying over the years, since the proposed ban of cigar lounges in
Yep.
Boston.
Yep.
They've tried to get a group, a nonprofit, together to help lobby and fight. It's really tough to get these people together and really get something done. I mean, they meet like twice a year. It's
Yeah.
like, what do you?
Yeah.
And I was getting, I got a little. I'm a, as my friend of mine says, I'm a see the hill, take the hill kind of guy. I see what has to be done, and I
Yeah.
just go and I do it. And I think that's how I became
That's
so
great.
successful in this business.
That's
But
great.
I just did it, and I notorious for doing things without thinking about it, saying things without thinking about it. But
Well, that could be a good thing.
I grabbed the bull by the horns, so
Yeah.
to speak, and I got in touch with a lobbyist that had contacted me years back about my satirical ads and said,
Great.
if you ever want to do anything, we'll do this. And
That's great.
his name's Guy Glotis. He's a former Worcester County sheriff,
Wow.
former Worcester County senator, former Worcester County representative, and he knows his way around the State House, and he's really helping us get things done. We've got a
That's
citizens.
fantastic. Yeah.
We're trying to get a citizens petition, and
Great.
it's a huge. It's a huge, and I'm really going to need everybody's help
Absolutely.
with it.
When you have that ready, absolutely. Please let us know.
It's
and
a huge
we'll
thing.
help you. Yes.
And you think, 65,000 signatures, that's nothing, but it's a lot.
That's a lot,
It's a lot, and we got to have it done by, I think, November this year
Wow,
of 2015.
okay.
So we got to.
Yeah.
The first thing we got to do is file the citizens petition with the Attorney General's office, and then we'll start collecting signatures, and then so we're petitioning the state to repeal the sales tax on any and all tobacco
Wow,
products.
that's great. That's amazing. That would be a huge step forward if we could get something.
It would.
Like
It's
that.
just I think that the voters in the Commonwealth set the precedent when we repealed the sales tax on alcohol, and then we kind of followed that up on the last ballot with the repeal of the gas index tax.
That's true. That's true.
I think, and you know what? Honestly, being from this area and knowing the history of this place, I think it's important to walk with heavy feet and carry the flag the way that our forefathers intended it to be. And I don't think
Absolutely.
anybody in the country knows about that more than Bostonians.
Absolutely. Yep.
I like to use the term massholes, but is that good for
I think
I'm
you're
one of-
allowed to say that
yeah.
on CCTV.
We're one of a kind, and every time I
Yeah.
travel abroad, I really get the people really enjoy my accent a lot. But
No, it seems like you'd be a great spokesperson. I think, as you can infuse the issues with
Well,
humor and.
that's a lot of the issue with the tobacco industry. Is there's I talked to Guy. He says, Jeff, tobacco consumers are just getting killed up here, and the number one reason is there is no representation at all. And at least we have some representation, so we can at least talk and move around the State House. And but I like I said, I really feel like the sheriff of Nottingham, and I feel like it's the right thing to do. There are other things that we would like to to accomplish at some point, like a tax cap on cigars, and maybe not increasing the tax so liberally on cigarettes, and I don't even know. Can we say that on public?
Yes, as far as I know, we can.
In my ads, when I do my ads,
I had noticed that. I think you said
I never say cigarette, cigar, smokes.
Actually, that's
taste, and stay away from all that
that's
stuff.
something I wanted to ask you about, because I had read an interview with you where you mentioned that you weren't allowed to say certain words, and I was listening to some of your ads and noticing that. So I wanted to ask you: is it you can't say those words on the radio?
It kind of led to the way that I talk about my business. It was we were tobacco is kind of risque, and it's like, do you advertise? And you can't advertise tobacco per se.
Right.
but retailers are protected on their First Amendment right of free speech to advertise their business, and I just found creative ways of putting myself out there, not necessarily advertising what we sell or what we do, but maybe advertising the one I did last summer was the Route 3.
The Route 3, that's one of my favorites.
Looking like a third world country. And
I love that one because it's an issue that obviously gets people's attention. But
the funny thing about that is anybody that lived on the South Shore that was driving over, I mean, this was the worst road I've ever seen in America. Sorry. But literally, it just was the timing of it. Literally a week later, they were out there tearing the road up.
So your ad obviously had a major impact.
Got my finger on the pulse of this Commonwealth.
That's so true.
I got my finger on it, and I'm watching and I'm listening, and I think
it sounds like you do. I'm optimistic about it.
I think that we're gonna get something done up at the State House. I don't know what it is, but I can tell you this: I'm really after equality in the marketplace. It's like we talk about I haven't checked the Ways and Means budget lately, but the last time I checked, alcohol was going to bring in $79 million. Wow. And tobacco was going to bring in $375 million.
Oh, wow.
So it's really a disproportionate, kind of discriminatory tax code, and it's outdated. And now we can prove it's outdated when we show the data from Connecticut and Rhode Island. And look at, I mean, anybody who knows anything is like, I don't know how many times I hear, I go up to New Hampshire a day. It's like, we're getting killed.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And I don't mean that we're getting killed. I mean, I'm doing fine. We're spread out. Back in the day when mail order cigarettes was a big part of the business, we kind of spanned out and really stretched ourselves out to try and stay alive.
Yeah, to tap into that market.
Just keep turning turning the business around and trying, working really hard, spending a lot of hours, not getting paid really great, just working, and all of a sudden, I think it was like 5 or 6 years ago that the PACT Act was enabled, and they banned mail order cigarettes, and it was like an explosion.
I remember when you could still get cigarettes through the mail, and I remember when American Spirit used to send you free cartons in the mail.
Perfect example of what we're talking about. The tax on a pack was 75 cents. The state raised it to $1.50. Hundreds of millions of dollars in tax revenue went out to mail order. I mean, that's what happens, and it's like we need to finesse this thing a little bit more to make it,
make it more equitable. And
we talk about this stuff all the time. Your friend Steven and I about the smoking bans and stuff, and it's like, hey, we all live here together. I'm not necessarily for the bans, but I understand the non-smoker's perspective, but I know that this being America, we have always found ways of working together and compromise and figure out how we're going to do this. And because I honestly don't think that, I feel like tobacco consumption is part of American thread. It is part of our culture. It's it kind of defined America and what it is and where it comes from. And I don't want to go any further than that, but it's really came from this country.
Well, the American economy was really
revolves around
tobacco. So it's very, very interesting.
It was the first form of American currency, really. I mean, it was the first thing that they were trading. They came. I have a saying. I say Columbus came looking for gold and found tobacco.
You got more than you bargained for. That's for sure.
Well, I guess so. Look at it today. It's amazing. We fix all the roads. We run the train from Fall River. It really pays for a lot of stuff. And
it does. Yeah, it's interesting how it has evolved into being something that pays for all these other things, kind of a cash cow.
It's a cash cow.
But at the same time,
they know it, and that's part of why they have this shield of public health. We're doing good things for public health, but really they're like, give us the money. It's just another excuse or another reason to overtax this and overburden, overburden the tobacco consumers. I mean, it's unbelievable. I can't believe that people still pay.
People still pay.
They
those
know,
prices.
and the public health and I mean, they can say whatever they want. They don't want us to smoke, or they don't want us to consume tobacco products or cigars but we do. It's who we are. It's American.
I mean, to go back to something we said earlier. I mean, I asked you, do you really think that that's where it's headed? Is almost a total prohibition on tobacco? I really see it as two competing forces. And right now, I think they're working together. But the government with tax and anti-smoking groups, I think they actually do have kind of conflicting aims.
They're aiming at the money, and they're aiming at it's kind of
one is aiming at the money, one is kind of aiming at prohibition, and I think eventually those things are going to kind of collide. And we're not there yet, but that's going to be interesting.
I think another interesting aspect of this business is we were talking about how the not being able to say certain things when because I'm a tobacco store. Well, now you've got these ads for like electronic cigarettes. Tastes like a real cigarette, smells like it's like, how can they say that and I can't?
So
and I'll tell you what,
say that?
they are, and the reason is that electronic cigarettes are not a tobacco product. They are a non-tobacco nicotine delivery system. They're not even, technically it's not even an electronic cigarettes, it's a non-tobacco nicotine delivery system.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
It's really amazing what's going on. What else do we have, Emily? I don't know.
Well, I guess one thing I wanted to touch on briefly is I'm just curious if you as a retailer have noticed any change in your business since smoking bans have been introduced, whether indoor or outdoor. Recently, there's been a lot more outdoor bans. Have you seen an arc, a major trend in your business declining, or has it kind of stayed the same? Or
every time I know that the city of Boston has banned smoking in public parks.
That's right.
It's kind of like one of those blue laws that's never going to get enforced. At least I feel like it is, because every time I go to Boston Common, I park in the Common to go to the State House. I see people around the Common, consuming tobacco products, and it's like the police state. But like I said, it's part of our culture, and I think when it happens, they're going to have to just ban it outright, and people are just going to get so pissed, and it's going to be like, it's so far away.
We saw that in Westminster when the town of Westminster tried to ban tobacco sales. People really revolted that.
Even people that didn't consume tobacco, they just don't want the government, telling us what we can and can't do. There's a process to this. There's a legislative process, and I'm learning. I thought that my satirical ads, people would actually hear them up there and kind of, heed what I was saying, and they honestly don't.
Read between the lines.
They're so busy up there, and they have so much stuff going on day to day and meetings, and they just have no idea. They just don't know. And like I said, there hasn't been anybody up there representing the consumer.
There hasn't been anyone really fighting, and no one with any real power at any rate. So
I don't think it's a matter of power. I think it's passion. I think you gotta have passion.
So you think passion is more important than power in this?
Absolutely. Power didn't win wars. Passion wins wars. Passion wins battles. Maybe power does win wars. I don't think so. I don't know. I'm up there though, and I'm looking out for my customers' best interests, and that's and the good thing about that is it's really looking out for every tobacco consumer's best interests in the state of Mass.
That's great. I think those are really inspiring words. I think that's something that people listening can take away with them.
So I'm trying. What can I do? I'm trying. If I can't get 65,000 signatures to get this on the ballot, or at least get something done, or get us heard, then honestly, we might as well just pack it up and say, just put the tax whatever you want, whatever you guys want, do it,
So true.
I think I'm going to do everything that I can do to get the signatures. And that's where we're headed.
And we'd be glad to help you with that. Cambridge Citizens for Smokers' Rights. So look out for that coming up from us this summer. It sounds like it's going to be.
You got to have 10 signatures. You got to have the petition initiative written and 10 signatures at the AG's office by August the 10th.
Wow.
And then thereafter, it's only 10 signatures. I could get that in my house. It's my
standing outside the supermarket.
But what we're gonna need is people to literally take the paper and get everybody they know that's a registered voter to sign.
So these need to be hard copy signatures.
I'm not sure. We're meeting with the AG's office on Friday to kind of go over that. Can we do online petition? I'm not positive. I don't want I don't want to say. I'm not really positive, but we're gonna find out on Friday.
Good question. Okay. Well, we'll stay tuned for that. Let me see if I have anything else.
But to answer your question, I don't really see the decline from the ban. I think that bars and restaurants the outdoor patio bans are going to affect the bars and restaurants a lot more than me. I'm a brick and mortar retailer. People, I'm a destination. They come to me to buy their products and then leave.
And as you said, and people will. Well, I think you said this. I'm kind of paraphrasing, but I think people will keep smoking who enjoy it. Will keep using tobacco products when they enjoy it.
Some people just don't care. I mean, I'm a tobacco consumer. I've been for a little bit. I have 2 young kids. I'm trying to quit. So I've been trying to quit, but I'm really taking serious steps.
Right.
To stop smoking, and I know it's bad for me, but again, I think that we all have our liberty, you know.
But we
should
have the right
have
to
our
choose.
liberty.
Yeah. So no matter your opinion on tobacco, I think we can at least agree that it's, that we should have the right to choose and not be unfairly taxed.
We're not taxing ice cream, you know. We're not taxing.
Not yet.
I
think that's coming now.
Exactly. That's what people have to realize. It's a means to an end, which never comes.
And it's a slippery slope. I mean, it's become a cliche now, but it really is, you know. And
it's the truth.
It's
not a cliche anymore. It's the truth. They're headed there. You know, sugar drinks. They want to tax everything.
It's so true. Yeah. Definitely.
If we let them do it, let them do it, they're gonna keep.
It's so true.
Keep taxing anything they can, and you know, I say it every day. You know.
Absolutely.
Every generation deserves a revolution.
Well, those are inspiring words to end on. I think we're almost out of time, so I'm just gonna put up our flyer so you can get in touch with us. Visit our website, our Facebook page, and also email us at info@ccsr.org. We'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions from Geoff, please feel free to send them to info@ccsr.org. I'm sure he'd be glad if we pass them on.
Absolutely.
So thank you for joining us, and thank you so much,
Thanks,
Geoff.
Emily.
Really enjoyed
awesome.
this discussion.
No
Thank
problem.
you. Have a good night, everyone.